other types of crazy dishes to think about when it comes to using the single ingredient method. All right. Well, let's think about burgers for a minute.
Oh,
Yeah, if you've watched the combination method, we kind of dive into this a little bit more. But like when you are thinking about a burger, and when you think about anything, like you want to think about like what is inside of the this food that I'm eating, right? So like what type of bun, what type of meat? We talking chicken, we talking beef, turkey, fish. How hefty is the patty? We talking In-N-Out smash burger size. We talking Casino El Camino. If you're in Austin, you should check it out. 3/4 pound burger. What's the toppings, the sauces, the everything? Like, what are the additions? Because all of those different things really make up the total calories for
yep.
it.
And if you're like us, which you probably are because you're here, you're drawn to things that are a little bit more crazy. So it's not just going to be a, McDonald's burger. It'll be something that is
Yeah.
a little bit more over the top, and that's what draws you to it. So thinking about all of those kind of unique things that make up that big burger or that crazy thing that draws you to it, so you can figure out how to reconstruct it in a calculator.
Yep. And so here's some examples. So for instance, like using the single ingredient method would be great for this crazy burger that we ate at Dat's in Florida. Oh my gosh, because it has a mac and cheese bun.
So good.
Tell me where are you going to find a mac and cheese bun?
That's
That's right here.
yeah.
So basically, it's like okay, like using the single ingredient method, and it's fried mac and cheese. So you could probably use estimation facts for fried mac and cheese balls, right? And then
And the
see,
reality is like things like this, once we like we've talked about before, like they're becoming more and more popular. So maybe not a whole bun, but like she said, mac and cheese, like bites or fried cheese, things like that. You can use like, oh, great. You can substitute it so you can build a recipe for yourself.
yeah, because even like a lot of places have appetizers that are fried mac and cheese bite. I think Olive Garden maybe has it or somewhere, but they have nutrition facts, and so then it's like, okay, let me see. This place has fried mac and cheese bites. How many bites are in the calories that they're showing? Okay, I'm gonna say that 1 to 2 servings of this appetizer is probably about the buns for this, and then
Yep.
you would use that as the buns, and then you would put however much the patty is and however much the other ingredients are.
Yep.
Same thing with this grilled cheese donut bun, right? You're like, what the
Well, and this
fuck?
is where just being honest with yourself definitely makes a huge difference because you could probably search in your nutrition tracker of like, burger with donut bun or donut burger and come up with something, but it's probably not going to have 4 donuts for the
Yeah.
bun that are made into grilled cheese sandwiches. So it's like, all right, just be honest with yourself so that way you could build something that's as close to what you're actually going to eat or did eat as possible.
Exactly. And then this on the left, we got it was an oyster mushroom, like a fried oyster mushroom. And so it's vegan. There are starting to, once again, populate more places that are having these nutrition facts. The beef rib, you're not going to find a place like that. A big loaded, what was this, drunken,
I
uh,
think a hangover cure or drunken something, who
hangover. I
knows?
can't remember the
Yeah.
after the what it was
Yeah.
delicious though, the biscuit bar. But just thinking about what are all the ingredients, especially that make up the calories that you'd want to put in there. Even towers, you can use the combination method for these things. So like, or the single ingredient. It just depends. It depends on like what you can and are willing to do. For instance, if we take the one on the right, it was a whole bunch of like short rib sandwiches that were all put together. So you could either do it like I ate this many slices of toast and this many slices, or you could find an entry for like a short rib sandwich and be like, it was this many short rib sandwiches, then I'll add some mozzarella sticks or whatever to it to create your recipe.
Yeah, because realistically, like as crazy as it looks, even if you look at it, you can see like, oh, it is realistically just a bunch of sandwiches stacked on top of each other. So it's
Yeah.
like, all right, do the, you can look at it, it's like, oh, like this is about this many sandwiches. Great. Their sandwiches normally this. So multiply by however many is stacked
Yeah.
on top of each other.
Or when you're eating it, you're like, I'm just going to eat one of those sandwiches off the tower because that's what it is. And account for a short rib sandwich,
Yep.
right? And then create your own recipe for that single short rib sandwich.
Yep.
Same thing with like waffle towers. Let's talk about donuts. So for
Yeah.
instance, like with donuts will vary based on their calories because of the type of donut, like cake versus brioche versus old fashioned versus gluten free.
Yep.
Is it filled? Is it frosted? How big is it? Are we talking like Krispy Kreme has a lot smaller donuts,
Yeah.
but so does Dunkin'.
Single bite donuts.
Yeah, but there's a place called Top Pot, which we've never been in person,
Oh,
but they have nutrition facts and it actually says the weight of the donuts. And these are some hefty donuts. These are like I think a little less than 4-ounce donuts, which is big for a donut.
There you go.
And they are a great, we'll say, base to be able to utilize for our salty donut experience.
Yeah.
Uh,
Use that as a frame of reference, right?
yeah, exactly. And so, for instance, like the one on the left, like this donut was this big, and you're like, okay, I'm not going to find nutrition facts for a donut this big, but you can use the weight method to be like, all right, I had this much weight of a donut. So, like, I take Top Pot's donuts, and I had 500 grams or whatever it was of this donut.
And even if you don't necessarily know, you could also, do a little bit more learning and discovery yourself. Whereas, like, you could probably buy a donut that's similar to that from Krispy Kreme or someplace that has nutrition facts for a single donut, and then
Hmm.
weigh it, and then weigh the big donut and go, all right, cool. A normal Krispy Kreme donut weighs about this, and I'm going to multiply it by however much I ate from this donut. So even if you can't search the
Yeah,
facts online,
because like
you could
Krispy
do.
Kreme won't say the weights of their donuts.
Yeah, but they're all most of their donuts are pretty uniform. So it's like, all right, you can logically think, hey, I bought this donut. Their nutrients are for a single donut. I weighed it, it weighs this much, and then you can do the math for something a little bit larger.
Yeah. Or you just say, all right, this is, if you don't weigh it, then you say, okay, I had half of this thing, which is maybe like 6 Krispy Kreme donuts
Yeah. So
or
then you just do the
whatever.
math and cite it yourself. It's like, all right, it's probably about this many. This one donut's probably a dozen.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. And then like the mini one, this is like a croissant donut,
Mhm.
or then we have a cake donut. So just you can see they vary in sizes
And that'll
and what
definitely
it's made
change
of.
with the dough as well. Like
Yep.
brioche and a croissant donut, very different in calories.
Oh, for sure. The middle one was a savory donut. So like, okay, like building it, like we ate this whole thing. And so it's like, okay, what is it composed of? Well, there's some prosciutto in there, there's some sauces, there's an egg, there's a unglazed brioche donut. So then I take the nutrition facts from an unglazed brioche top pot, because they have that. And then I add some prosciutto, add an egg, add whatever sauces that they put on there, and then that's how much I'm guesstimating for this donut,
Yep.
right? Same thing with the waffle. We got chicken and waffles. All right, how many ounces is that little waffle, or servings of whatever waffle place you want to use? This we got like a little Debbie cream pie on the left. So like, okay, I got a glazed donut, top it with a little Debbie cream pie, top it with some buttercream frosting. Boom, there's your
Yep.
recipe.
So just looking at things and thinking a little bit more critically on what you're actually eating. Because I know
Yep.
sometimes it can seem overwhelming. It's like, oh, it's just a big donut. It's like, but if you look at it, and once again, if you're like us, like those are things that draw you to it. It's like, I want that donut because it has a cream pie on top. Fantastic. Or chicken and waffles on top of a donut. Yes, please. A little pipette of syrup, of course. And then so when you're tracking it, you kind of break that down on what made it different than a traditional donut.
Yep. Thinking about like burritos, tacos, and dillas, quesadillas.
Oh,
Like
not armadillos.
what? Not armadillos. What type of tortilla? Like we talking flour, corn? Is it a pancake? They have those. How
Oh,
big is it? Are we like 14 inches? Like those are becoming more and more popular,
yep.
or is it like 12 inches? Is it two tortillas? We've had ones where they use two 12-inch tortillas.
We've had somewhere they done four.
Yeah, four. Yes, we have.
Yeah,
What is it filled with? Is it wrapped? Is it cheese wrapped? Is it bacon wrapped?
or even like Chipotle was doing it before the quesadilla burrito or whatever, right? So it's like just a single
Oh
burrito
yeah,
was two tortillas
yeah,
wrapped up because they
yeah,
made a
yeah,
quesadilla and then
yes,
made a burrito out of it.
yes. But the one on the left, like that was bacon wrapped. So how many strips are we talking? Are we estimating the whole thing? Are we just doing a portion of it? There is also like this was a Big Mac quesadilla. Oh my gosh, it's amazing at Elm Street. You can, do the tortilla, this many burger patties, this much sauce, whatever. Then we got pancake tacos. Then we got a crunch wrap. So you see kind of where we're going with this thought process here.
Yeah, and so like I said, you're not always going to be able to find everything that you eat in a nutrition tracker, but think about what you're eating, break it down, and then reconstruct it. So kind of deconstruct it in your mind, reconstruct it in your nutrition tracker.
Yep. When it comes to like appetizers and sides, like there's so many loaded fries out there now. So like, what is the base? Is it like tater tots? Is it chips, onion rings, French fries, tortilla chips, potato chips? when it comes to those types of chips.
This place is pasta chips.
Pasta chips.
Yeah,
Jeez.
there you go.
There's so many things. How big is it? Is that an entire container? Is it just a little bit? Like, what are the toppings? Once again, you don't have to do the entire thing if you don't want to. I just personally like it because I'm just like, ooh, I'm curious how many calories this is. But do what you want, and you enjoy.
Yeah.
So it's like,
And if you're
hey,
doing it after the fact or you're planning ahead, you could look at it as, hey, I'm probably gonna eat about this much.
yeah.
And then you could just build a recipe for what you're going to eat.
Yes, exactly. We got onion rings on the left with fried chicken and bacon and all types of stuff. And then you got waffle fries with brisket, and then you got cheesy fries with ground beef.
Yeah,
So
loaded anything, we're all for it.
it
But it's like, all
is.
right, what do they load it with? Do your best to kind of dissect it, look at it as a little science experiment, so that way you can know.
Yep. But in conclusion, basically, like build your own recipe. Look at photos and videos, and then look at what you're doing and compare it to others and see like what am I creating? Googling, using your nutrition tracker, asking the restaurant. These are all great resources. Create your recipe, decide how much you're eating, then of course watch our other guesstimation lessons to learn more.